Warning: the following video may contain spoilers to the movie as well as the game. Your discretion is advised. Hello, my fellow gamers! It is I, Anthony Lopez, the Mexican that plays video games, and today I am going to be reviewing Amazing Spider-Man 2, the video game. Now, I hate to say it, I actually have a lot of negative things to say about this game. I played the first one and I enjoyed the first one mainly because it took place after the first movie. Whereas this one, it takes place during the movie. However, to avoid spoiling the movie for the game, they basically don't add anything from the movie into the game. So the story of it can be very confusing at times on what the hell's happening. So let's start with the pros. The pros of this game are pretty simple. The web swinging has definitely improved. I enjoyed swinging in the previous game, and this one had made it even better by actually using both triggers this time to determine where you're going to be swinging from. So if you use your left trigger, you're going to be using your left hand for the swinging. If you use your right trigger, you're swinging with the right hand. The other pros are the suits. In the previous game, the suits were awesome. In this game, the suits are even awesomer. And they actually have an effect bonus to them. So they're not just skins, they're actually suits that you can wear during the gameplay and actually have perks to wearing certain suits. Now, another thing that they brought back from Amazing Spider-Man 1 into Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a comic book collection. Yes, there are a lot of comic book pages, but they are worth collecting, mainly because they unlock actual comic books for you to read. They have the first appearance of Shocker, first appearance of Electro, first appearance of Carnage. I mean, they just have all these really rare comics that you can read when you collect them. Now, another thing that I enjoyed was Goblin's voice. The actor, I don't think it was the same actor from the movie. I'm pretty sure it's not the same actor from the movie. But the person that did the voice of Goblin in this game, I actually kind of enjoyed. He kind of had that Goblin feeling to him. Then there was a surprise villain at the end of the movie. Well, not the end of the movie, but at the end of the credits of the game, which was Chameleon. Which I thought, I didn't see him going to be affecting any of the games anytime soon, or the movies for that matter. So that was pretty cool to see him actually appear at the end of the credits. Now this was just the game. He didn't appear in the movie, just the game. I just want to make that clear. There were some positives and negatives to the game, so I guess I'll do that next. The positive and negatives of the game I had with this were the crimes. It was very nice to have crimes in the game to determine if you were going to be a hero or a menace, but it doesn't really affect on story-wise, it just affects on how you free roam. So if you're a hero, the cops/task force won't bother you as much, but if you're a menace, then they're going to try and hunt you down. Now, that's pretty nice, but the problem I have with it is they put way too many of them in them, as in you are constantly having them popping up, and if you don't get them right away, they go away and you end up getting that menace point for it. So I don't like the fact that it's basically forcing you to go and do all these things when you don't want to do them all the time. You just kind of want to swing around, but if you don't do them, the next thing you know, you're a menace and you're getting hunted down by the cops. Another positive/negative in this game was Carnage. That's right, they put Carnage in this game. I am a fan for the whole symbiote thing, Venom, Carnage, Toxin, just all of them. But here was the problem with it. They never introduced Venom. Now, if anyone that knows the comic books, Carnage is basically a brother of Venom. He is split off from the symbiote and basically is, what's the word? Symbiotic relation with Cletus Cassidy. What they do in the game instead is they say it's a Venom project over in Ravencroft, And basically, the symbiote is more of nanite. Kind of not making sense there. It's like, how the fuck are you having nanites be fucking Carnage for a symbiote relationship? No, that doesn't fucking work. If you're gonna put Carnage in this game, you might as well put fucking Venom in this game. That's how I feel. It's not, Carnage cannot be without Venom, and Venom cannot be, well, Venom can go without Carnage, but basically Carnage cannot come. Carnage cannot come without being from Venom. Ooh, wow, tripping over my words. So another good thing was the ending. Somewhat, it had a very good message, but the ending to it was very cheesy until you saw after the credits of the appearance of Chameleon, which was awesome. Now, on to the negatives. Here are the things that I had major problems with this game. The first thing was Peter Parker's design and Kingpin's design. Peter Parker, you got to play as him now in this one, but to me, he looked nothing like Peter Parker. He looked like a freaking huge meathead. He looked like he could have been Eddie Brock for all I knew. And I know some people who are playing the game might go, oh, it's just his clothing. No, it's not just his clothing that makes him look big. I know this because I wear clothing that makes me look big, but it's not just the clothing. His head freaking looks like a meathead, and I don't like it. The design for Kingpin. Well, here, let's bring up the image of Kingpin. That's not Kingpin to me. He looks like the special educated brother of Kingpin. And what I mean by this too is even when he was talking, it drove me crazy because he was basically like, oh, well, I kind of did this and this. You have no evidence of that. I never did such a thing. He's basically admitting that he's doing illegal shit instead of being the confident Kingpin where he's like, you have no evidence of this. You have no way of proving that I'm creating all these activities. He's just making it seem like, oh, I did this, but you can't prove it. And he makes it way too obvious, and it bugs the crap out of me. Not to mention his appearance bugs the shit out of me. Now, another negative, like I said before, this game takes place during the movie. And there's a point where you have to fight Electro and Goblin. But the problem is you meet Electro as Max Dillon at your first, no, more like your third mission when you have to go into Oscorp. You meet him, and he helps you out, but it doesn't really show what happens to him. All it does is it gives you little notes or audio logs saying what happened to him, but it doesn't really show what happened to him or what he dealt with in Ravencroft. Whereas in the movie, it shows all that. Now, I understand what they're doing is basically trying to prevent any spoilers for the movie, but if you're going to make this game during the movie, you kind of have to spoil something from the movie to understand why Electro became Electro in the game and why he's trying to kill Spider-Man now all of a sudden. Because in the movie, the battle between Electro and Spider-Man, where Electro is actually bad, takes place in the power plant. Whereas the first battle he had in the movie with him was in New York. And that's what they did in the game. They had the battle in New York, but what they did was they made Electro already bad and trying to kill Spider-Man. Whereas in the movie, when they fought in New York, he was trying to understand what happened to him. He knew what he didn't know what happened to him, and he was wanting help. And nobody could see that except for Spider-Man. So the fact that they did the New York battle instead of doing a battle in power plant kind of upsets me. And then another thing that I have an issue with is that there was no Gwen Stacy in this game. And spoiler alert for the people in the movie has the death of Gwen Stacy. That's one of the most iconic moments in comic book history, as well as now in the movie. And they don't put her in the game at all. And you fight Goblin, and Goblin's basically I honestly thought the battle between Goblin was better in the game, but it was nice to see if they would have put the death of Gwen Stacy in the game as well. But of course, like before, they don't want to ruin anything for the movie. And as I said, if you're going to put the game during the movie, you kind of have to do some kind of spoilers. If they were to put this game after the movie, like they did with the first one, there'd be no problem then. It'd be like, okay, they're not going to spoil anything from the movie. They might try to give you a little hints on what happened in the movie, but they're not going to spoil anything. No, you put it during the movie, now you got a fucking confusing storyline. And then the last negative I have with this game is the combat gameplay. Now, when I saw an interview on what they were saying, they were going to change the combat by making it not be one button to basically win all the battles. They were kind of true, but the problem is they just added one more button, basically. You still have your webbing, your punching, and then you basically get Shocker's gloves at one point in the game. But basically, you don't have to use your webbing much at all. You can just sit there and punch the entire time, and the only time you ever use the Shocker's glove is when you fight brutes. But the problem is you don't fight the brutes that much. You fight maybe one or two during the little street crimes, depending on which one you choose. And then as for mission-wise, probably same thing, about 2 or 3 of them. So they said they were going to improve on the combat, but honestly, they didn't. It was just the classic punch. If you see a counter. And that was just not good for me. Especially when you say, we are going to change the combat system, and you don't. You just kind of added a few buttons and thought you changed it, but you never did. So, on to the verdict of what I say about this game. Rent or buy this game. Personally, I say you could probably just skip this game. If you want to rent it just to see what happened else during the movie, that way you can have a different view of the movie, go ahead and go for it. But I tell you, it's way different from the movie, and it's supposed to take place during the movie, so it gets confusing at sometimes. And another thing I forgot to mention was the cutscenes are not very fluent, and what I mean by that is you'd be asking questions in the game, and then the way they were asking questions, it just didn't seem fluid. Not to mention, it seemed like Spider-Man was on crack. He was moving a lot during the cutscenes, and it bugged the shit out of me. So I would really highly suggest not buying this game. If you want to buy it, probably wait till it's like in the $20 bin or the $10 bin, basically the discounted aisle. But like I said, you could probably skip this game, and it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. It wouldn't hurt you that much, I promise you. If you want to enjoy Spider-Man, just go see the movie, and you will enjoy the movie, and you can avoid this game, and you will have good thoughts about the movie. That's all I gotta say about that. Until next time, this is all I got about the game. Next review will probably be Thief. If you haven't seen it already, I have the Let's Play Dead Island with Lone Masamune up. So until next time, nerds, nerdettes, gamers, gamerettes, keep gaming, my friends, and I will see you next time. Ciao! If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment if you have a disagreement, or have a different opinion on how things worked. Until then, and keep on going. Spider Pig, does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't, 'cause he's a pig. Look out, here comes a Spider Pig.